So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, it was definitely our biggest episode yet, as we saw the beginning, and no, not the beginning. We saw the World War One. In that war, we had old powers such as Albania come back. We had Portugal become extremely large. We had a new country in the Sicilians. We saw the collapse of the Italian Empire, and also China died and Japan became huge. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe. I do these all the time. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Now, the first thing we're going to be seeing is over here in Europe, as we have all these countries sort of thinking about, carving up the rest of the world. There's a lot of land that still hasn't been taken yet, and we have to get exploring into this. So let's start to carve up the world how we would like it, right? And the first place they're going to be starting to, start to carve up is down here in Australia. As we have them exploring the continent a lot, we have them coming around here and just kind of doing all this. We have Japan coming down the good coast over here. This is where most of the capital areas of Australia is, so whoever gets this is going to be strong. Not strong, but whoever gets this is the best place to get in Australia. And the Germans will invade and take out this country here, and they're going to connect up their claims. And we see all this happen now, and Germany is a lot bigger. We also have a different country colonised New Zealand, and that's going to be Portugal. They make a landing and finally get a nice oceanic colony here, and they take over the entirety of New Zealand now, and it belongs to them. And yeah, cool. So Oceania is starting to get colonised, as we just have this area here of Australia that hasn't been explored yet. On a mistake, the Portuguese do own Fiji. I think that's part of the video that I didn't like, but it's canon now, I guess. So they own Fiji and New Zealand. Anyway, a bit less colonising for them now. We're going to go to Asia, as there's some stuff starting to heat up over here. But I've just updated the ideology layer, and these guys need an ideology. But over here in this country, they are quite distraught. They just lost World War One, and they are heavily embarrassed by what happened in that war. They feel like they want revenge on the world, and the government really just isn't doing well. So what we're going to see is actually a bit of something called a revolution / a coup. And this is the just new area, I guess. They're going to be the same colour if they win. But we see this whole area kind of rebel away from this country, in which they will successfully pretty much just take over the whole country in a few weeks because of how just collapsed it is. And surprisingly, the ideology these guys switched to is one that we haven't really seen yet. It's the ideology of fascism. The first fascist nation in the world has been born down here, and they're immediately going to build up their army and do something straight away, actually. That is invade this Chinese country here, this new one. And the military now is, built up a bit. It's been probably, I'd say actually by this point, it's been about 20 years since World War One. I didn't mention that. But I'm going to do power rankings right after this war, but it has been about 20, 30 years since World War One, maybe 25 years. And I'd say we are now around the year maybe 1700, maybe a bit later. I don't know. You guys can make up the time. I'm not going to say how many years it was actually, but it's now the year 1717. Quite nice. But this is when the Thai Burma country invades into these guys, and they're actually going to change their capital because it's way too close. I'll do that after the war actually, because then I get to change it again. They're going to change it to here for now. I'm just going to say that because they don't want to be too close to Vietnam or the capital. So yeah. And these guys are going to be able to easily come into this country. This country is still not properly built up. They are all set up as full democracies. Even these guys are feeling a bit of kind of turmoil or distress from the war, and they even could turn fascist soon. We then see Vietnam decide to join this war to protect the balance of power in East Asia. Weird sentence, but they don't think that there should be a fascist country in this world. I just sneezed, that's gross. But yeah, they do that. And this country really wasn't that stable, as now we're going to see a rebellion happen. As this entire area over here will rebel. This isn't going to be the actual colour I use, it might be like a darkish green. I like that colour. But they mainly stem from this city. Actually no, they stem from this city here, and they're going to go further out into this. We then see this northern Chinese country even get involved, weirdly enough, and take some land out of the north. And Shandong is even going to invade into this Chinese country as well. in a weird move. Don't know why they would do this, but they do. They just want to take back some land. Not take back land really, but I guess it is take back some land because they did used to extend like all the way over here in the past. But they just got free, and they are actually going to be able to capture the capital of this country, and it's after a bit more invasion. As the Vietnamese, or not the Vietnamese, but the Burmans, I'm going to call them, I'm going to call them Myanmar. The Myanmar country is going to go very far up here, and they're going to be able to capture many cities, and eventually they're pretty much the only one doing damage to this country, just going to surrender to them. And we take a look at a peace treaty now. So this is what they come up with, the peace treaty. Over here we see the Myanmar country get all of this land, and they're also going to move the capital over to here now, because why not? And they are huge. Now this country, the Vietnamese, are going to, not that, they're going to get all of this down here. No, that's, what is, no, 1 pixel, no. They're going to get all of this here. I'm having a nightmare today. This red country here, ow, they're going to get this land here. This green new rebellion thing is going to exist, and they're going to look like this. I actually quite like these borders, not going to lie. And then Shandong is going to get all of this land here. And this is what the end thing looks like. And the this Chinese country is going to be a bit smart, and they're going to decide to move the capital away from here, and instead put it here. This is definitely their best location of a city. And yeah, they're just going to be down here now. So yeah, new Southeast Asia, I guess. Burma is huge now. I'm going to call it Burma or Myanmar. I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling. And we see a similar thing happen over here in an old region of the world. They're going to be the country of New Persia. They aren't going to have a revolution, they're more so just going to have a coup. And this also for them is going to bring in fascism. Very similar to what's going on over here. They are going to now use this new ideology. And then they start by, fascism in this universe isn't really the same as it was in the old universe. Or in our universe. What this, they're doing like genocide and stuff is not good. But what more so this is just simply massive expansionism to get as big as you can. That's mainly what they want from this. These guys can't really expand anymore now. But hey, there's Vietnam down here. And also, I want to update the alliances real quick. I have updated them quickly. But the Diamond Alliance no longer exists. Albania did end up leaving the Triangle Alliance. We also have the 6-Star Alliance getting disbanded because it would not really work with China or Vietnam, or no, Japan and Vietnam. It's more so just between Japan and Korea. And Vietnam didn't even want to be it anyway, and Japan's not going to be an alliance with themselves, so they're instead just going to leave it and maybe join the Triangle Alliance in the future, which would definitely be not very good for the world if you don't like the Triangle Alliance. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get back to Persia, and they're going to invade into this country. Now going by the name of Neo-Persian Empire, or the Neo-Persian Empire, they will invade into over here, and this is some old Persian land, so they really want to just reform the Persian Empire. And I'm talking like the OG one, I don't know, it's the new one, not the OG one. These guys did actually used to be the Persian Empire, but then they split off from the new government and became themselves again. So Neo-Persia is now going to go up more and capture this city, get close to the capital, and then they actually just go over to the capital and say, hey, we'll let you guys live if we just get some of your southern land down here. And these guys are going to be forced to accept. So this is a bit of an interesting peace treaty, isn't it? So what ends up happening here is Persia's just going to take all of this land in the south, or Neo-Persia, sorry. And you may be wondering why is there a line around this? Well, that's because they agreed to let these guys live as a puppet state. So Neo-Persia now has a nice new puppet state up here, and the whole world is like, whoa, we have a pretty large power now coming in. And these guys are shooting up in the power rankings. They're probably a top 20 power at this point. And this Persian country down here, yeah, they're fearing for their life. And also with them being puppeted, they changed their ideology to fascism. So we now have 3 fascist countries in the world. Weird, hey? And we're coming over here to Northern Europe. We see the, actually, a country starting to lose their power a lot. That country is Russia, surprisingly. Now we've got to do power rankings before I explain this. But the strongest country in the entire world, surprisingly, is Portugal. But Portugal is the strongest country in the world because of all the land they gained up here. This is some very valuable and populated land they came from Italy and the French Union. That's why they're the strongest country in the world. Number 2 then is going to be Germany. Number 3 is Japan. Number 4 is Russia. They have dipped down a lot since the war. Number 5 is the French country, massive empire in the Americas. Number 6 is the Dutch. They get supplied a lot by the French. In fact, no, I'm going to say that the British Union is number 6. And then 7 is the Dutch. The British Union, they also have a grand empire across the entire world. They have South Africa, Nigeria, they have this land in Quebec over here. And they could be getting a new colony later this episode. Number 8 is actually going to the red team. Number 9 is going to go to Sweden. Actually, no, I'm going to swap this around. Number 8 is Sweden, and number 9 is the red team. Number 10 then is going to be India. This is our top 10 ranking, and now let's get back to Russia, because there's something going on in them. And that's over here, as their Finnish puppet state is going to defy its master and break away, and Russia's going to be like, no, you can't just do this. So they're going to decide to try to send some forces in. It's not even a similar colour, but they're going to decide to try and send some forces in, but the Finnish are just going to they're just going to kick the Russians out. They're going to be like, no, we've been under you for too long, we're going to get out now, and we're going to enjoy what we have. And they're actually going to start invading into Russia, surprisingly. And this is a humiliating defeat, and the Swedish are like, yeah, we're just going to stay out of this war, guys. It's a bit like weird, why are you doing this, but then do this, and then the Russians give it, okay, fine, we surrender, not surrender, but we want to stop this war now. In which the Finnish will give their territories back to Russia in return for their independence. So Russia just lost out on some land, and now Constantinople down here wants to break away as well, but we'll have to turn back to that in the next episode, as Russia's power seems to be fading a bit. Anyway, finally, we're going back to colonization now, as over here in the Americas, we are entering the final stages of colonization, and that is seeing all of Canada get discovered finally. And stuff going on in South America will also start to explore a lot more, as they will go down here to this part of Argentina, and they'll basically explore all of the Pacific coast in a single episode, now just leaving the Amazon. And they're going to explore all down here now, and even discover the Falkland Islands. And they're going to leave this area for now, but they will, actually no, they're going to, I'm going to basically colour it in white. It's one, it looks bad, and two, it also, they kind of just assume, kind of what the Spanish did in real life, where they just assume this is all land and they're correct. So yeah, they do that. Now going up here, we see the British Union expand first. So the British Union is going to expand like this and take all of this land over here, and now looking like they basically have all of Hudson Bay to themselves, except for the parts owned by the Dutch, and I'm just going to give them this as well. But they are definitely one of the largest empires in the world. Mainly just because of their American colony. They also have South Africa down here, and they could be getting more in this episode. We'll have to just see. Now coming over to Japan, they're going to get the majority of this land, as they're going to take all of this, a lot, and the French aren't even that happy with this, because they're like, why are you taking land that could have been ours? And the Japanese just be like, So I'm seeing this happen, and then the French are going to just take the rest, and I'll be like, okay, nice, I guess we took the rest. So that's going to be our colonization update, I guess. All of North America is now colonized, marked by this island getting discovered. And yeah, this is what the map now looks like. I quite like it. And yeah. Going on to South America, we are going to see the French expand. And I decided to take all of this land here. And now I have a pretty big Uruguay-Argentinian colony. The Germans are going to expand Brazil. And that is by coming across over here and taking over a lot of the valuable areas along the coast. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to take all of this land, so yeah. They're also going to claim a lot on the inside. I say claim because they're not really going to settle this land. I'm also just going to say this is ours. Then we have the Japanese getting one of the last ones, as they land down here in Chile, and they're going to make a big colony. And they take all of this land right off the bat, so that's quite weird. And you know what, let's just fill in the Americas, that's what they say. And this is what the continent is going to end up looking like. The Portuguese are going to claim all of this land now, and they are done with the Americas because there's nowhere else to go. The Japanese are going to take all of this land, so they now have a big colony. They also take this down here, and I'm thinking about maybe brightening their colour a little bit, because it is way too similar to Portugal. It's like glitching out with the lines. I don't know, it's going really trippy, I don't like it. That's not on your camera though, so no, on mine for some reason. We do see the French take all this Argentinian colony here, and they have basically, this is a good colony. This is a nice colony down here. I don't know, I'm going to have some major cities going after this though. And then we have the Germans taking the rest of this land here, and finally or actually in one single episode, most of South America has been colonized, and this is just because colonization is hyping up, but even more than before the war, because there's no more tensions in the world. Tensions have all gone, so people don't have to focus on building up for war anymore. They can just go ahead and colonize the entire world. That's my logic. I don't know if it's correct, but hey, we do have all this land now getting divided up, and the cities have now been put down. So this is now all the Americas done being colonized. I might change Japan's colour once again, so possible. Like, I wouldn't mind making it just like pure purple. Oh, I'm not gonna actually make it pure purple because actually no, that wouldn't really look too good. I don't like it. But hey, it's definitely something to keep in mind. I'm probably not gonna do it, but I may. Anyway, going to the alliance layer, actually, we see a new alliance be formed, and that's between the Albanians and the Sicilians. Sicilians, I'd say, a number like 12 in the world in power. They're actually quite strong. I'd say the Albanians are like 14. So we're going to see the formation now of the Octagon Alliance. This is known as the Mediterranean Order or something, the MO maybe, I don't know, something. But this pact is basically to kind of just be nice. I don't know. It's just not really sort out on anything. It's more so for defence, but they allow pretty much any country they really want to join it. And they're even going to allow this country here, which Albania just fought a war with. But hey, this is just an alliance. It's like a safe alliance from the triangles, because these guys don't really like the triangles, and that's because the triangles, you know, kind of won the war. And speaking of Portugal, actually, you know, they actually didn't join the triangles fully in the war. They just joined them for the war. But now they're going to be making it official, as we have the official joining of Portugal to the Triangle Alliance. And this is definitely now the strongest country in the world, or strongest alliance in the world. It was already official, but then we have Japan joining this, and this is huge. This is definitely not very good for anyone who doesn't like the Triangle Alliance. They have basically become the world dominant power at this point, and yeah, and that's not what I have planned for these guys. They're not going to be like that. This is just what I'm doing for the minute. But this is now an alliance marked on colonization and trying to take over the whole world, in which they are making plans to colonize India, secret, don't tell anyone, even parts of Arabia. They want to carve up all of Africa. It's not a very nice alliance really, but they are here and they're going to do what they want, because why? Let's go into something else quickly. Actually, I don't know what I was just talking about. I got distracted by something then. But going back to what we're just talking about, we have the British Union just selling their colony over to Germany. And that is because, one, they've got South Africa now, they don't really need a foothold in Africa. Two, they in some heavy debt after the war. Germany's not in as much debt, but these guys, even though they didn't take part really in the war, they are in a lot of debt because of just the amount of troops they were throwing at the front line. They put about 1 million troops to do that. And they have to pay most of them, or the ones who didn't die, and they have to give compensation to the families. So yeah, that's not very good. But they're going to sell this to hopefully get some money out of it. Anyway, moving back to the British Union, they are actually going to use some of this money for something. And that is an invasion of Ireland straight after they finally gained the whole Irish island. But they are going to invade into Ireland to try and take it over. Germany doesn't really want it, and they don't really care that the British are doing it. But some of the alliance members, such as France and even the Dutch, are going to be like, what are you doing? But they're going to just be able to take over the Dublin. It's not actually the capital of this country, but it's down here, but yeah. They also come across and take over this city here, and Ireland is not doing well. They're quite broke after the war. I mean, they literally just won it, kind of. I mean, they were on the losing side, but they ended up winning and not losing any land. But they managed to take over the capital here, and the British Union. Most of the British Isles are now done, except for this Scottish land up here. But the British will get this, and maybe the Scottish will sell this land to the British. I mean, it just look so much better if they own this. It would, to be fair, but I don't know, man. It would look better. Anyway, moving on. I want to also just talk about these guys. They did leave the war. I just didn't talk about it. So yeah, just let you guys know they did leave the war in the end, but no one really attacked them in the war. Anyway, for the final event of today's video, we actually have two things. One, the Portuguese colonies over here are getting a bit rowdy, and two, the ideologies of the world are getting very split. It's at least in the Triangle Alliance, as the Dutch and French are looking to go towards a more democratic route. But the Germans, they just turned themselves into a dictatorship. Yeah, strange how that happened, but they now have become a dictatorship, whilst the French just became a constitutional monarchy. So, yeah. And these guys are absolute monarchies, and they're about to, they are very close to changing to dictatorships. And the Hungarian people, they don't want to be a dictatorship, but they can have to be. We do have Albania switching to a constitutional monarchy, being influenced by the Sicilian Empire, just to change their ideology a bit. But the Germans are looking at the French like her, and the French looking at the Germans like her. Because why have we just gone to different ideologies in each other? That's a bit weird. We're meant to all have the same ideology. But we're just going to leave this for now because nothing bad's going to come out of it at the minute. But hey, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.